Well, if it were 1995, I'd be sitting here talking to you about how every company needs a website. If it were maybe 2010, I'd be talking about how every company needs a mobile app. And now I think every company needs an AI agent. You know, my daughter just turned 15, and in the US, she's getting her license next year, which is scary for everyone on the road. And I'm convinced if it were a couple years from now, I would be chatting with my insurance company's AI agent to add her to our insurance premium rather than clicking around the website. So agents are, I think, just the way people interact with AI. They're conversational, they can pick up the phone, they can be consultative, multilingual, and I think for every company in the world, their main digital experience in the future is going to be their AI agent, and that's what, at Sierra, that's what we're trying to do.
Investors have been focusing on a handful of companies so far in the AI story, and OpenAI, of course, has been one of them, but also on public markets, there's been a couple, NVIDIA, Microsoft, and beyond. What are people missing about the next crop of AI companies?
Well, I really view the AI market as kind of two parts of it. On one hand, you have the infrastructure. So these are the companies building models like OpenAI and others. A lot of infrastructure investment, and it's really the infrastructure powering the AI market. The other part of the market is the one that Sierra plays in, and other companies like Harvey and Cursor that are essentially building applications on top of AI. So at Sierra, we're building agents for companies like Sonos or SiriusXM or ADT Home Security to help them with customer service. Harvey is building agents to help legal departments do things like review contracts. Cursor is a company that we're a customer of that helps our engineers write code. And actually, I think that part of the market is actually quite exciting just because it's a really simple way for businesses to consume all of this innovation. It's not investing in some abstract technology, but really almost hiring an AI agent to do a job, which I think is how a lot of companies will consume this amazing new technology.
As we talk about innovation in 2025, there's a lot of geopolitics, and it may have struck you too about the big presence of the Chinese here at Mobile World Congress on the back of DeepSeek and this breakthrough technology, and whether or not they used OpenAI to train their models. How do you see the threat of DeepSeek?
You know, broadly, I think AI is such a compelling technology. Every country in the world is going to pursue it, and I think it's an imperative that the Western world lead in innovating in this new technology. That means investing in compute so we have the best infrastructure. It means investing in data so that the models can be trained in innovative ways. And it means that having the best research labs like OpenAI that are always on the frontier of new techniques to make these AI models effective. I think we will have competition globally, but I think it's really an imperative for the West to lead because we want these models to represent freedom and self-expression, and I'm really proud to be affiliated with, I think, one of the West's great research labs.
As you talk about American companies, Western companies leading, the dialogue from the White House recently around trade tariffs has the Europeans questioning whether they want to have as much reliance on US tech. They want to grow homegrown European technology. Does that pose an issue when you're talking about the likes of OpenAI leading in this infrastructure, in this world of AI, when Europe wants its own challenges now too because of the geopolitics?
You know, it's a very complicated geopolitical landscape, but we were saying off camera, I'm actually here because my startup Sierra is opening our first international office in London, in Soho, and I've spent the past week talking to European companies about deploying AI agents, and it's remarkable how similar the problems companies are facing in Europe as in the United States. For a startup like ours, we're seeing similar levels of demand. We haven't seen reticence because we're based in the US. In fact, we've seen a lot of excitement that we're opening up an office here. So I do think the geopolitical landscape has become more complex, but I'm really optimistic that there's a lot of shared interest in Western companies pursuing this, and for a Western company, a US-based company like ours, I see a ton of demand in Europe, and I'm really excited to be based here now.
What I was hearing this week, though, is that American companies, too, are trying DeepSeek. They're trying to see whether it works with their systems, whether it can lower the cost of CapEx. Is that concerning, given all the billions that OpenAI has thrown at training its models and creating some generation-changing AI?
You know, I'm actually very optimistic about this. I think that AI has actually been prohibitively expensive for a lot of different applications. 2 years ago, ancient history in AI, 2 years ago, the cost per token, which is sort of the unit of computation for AI, was prohibitive for so many applications. Since then, OpenAI's models have gotten 2 orders of magnitude less expensive and higher quality, and open source models will actually just further competition, lower costs, and broadly, we haven't yet reached the point where it's actually reducing demand. We're still seeing that for each unit of compute that you apply to AI, you still get more intelligence out the other side. And as costs go down, applications go up. So ironically, I think as cost goes down, demand will go up. So I actually think competition's good in the age of AI. I think actually costs going down will make, if you just walk around the trade show here, I think there's just more applications that are possible today because the costs are going down.
It's funny as you talk about competition, there's competition at home too. And last time we caught up, we were talking about Elon Musk as you were on the board of Twitter and you were working with the negotiations on his moves to buy Twitter. Now we're talking about Elon Musk getting in the way of a valuation potentially when it comes to the transition of OpenAI to a for-profit company. You had a win in the court yesterday. Where do you think this is going in terms of Musk? And some are saying his motivation is really just to get in the way and upend the valuation of OpenAI. Is that the case?
Well, at OpenAI, first, I'll just sort of, for the viewers, we're a nonprofit with a mission to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits humanity. And one of the things that I think when the founders of OpenAI started it years ago wasn't clear was just how much investment it would take to make AGI. You were just talking about NVIDIA at the break. The amount of infrastructure we need to build to really build generalized intelligence, I think exceeded anyone's expectations a decade ago. So as a board, we're just saying, how do we actually pursue this mission in a complete way? How do we set up the company so that we can generate the capital we need to pursue that mission? And that's what we think about when we think about this restructuring. And you know, there's a lot of opinions on that. I actually welcome the criticism, the feedback. You know, as a board that's driven by a mission, I think it's imperative we listen to the feedback of all of our stakeholders as we do that, but it's really always going to be how do we pursue that mission, how do we strengthen that mission in a future corporate structure.
Let me ask you about the valuation. Have you worked out how to value this arm of the business when we talk about the separation of OpenAI?
Fundamentally, as a board, we're focused on the mission and ensuring that whatever we do strengthens that mission. So valuation is a part of it, but actually I think the deeper question is 10 years from now, can we look back and say, did we do right by that mission to ensure AGI benefits humanity? That's safety, that's ensuring that the technology is accessible, that's ensuring that the nonprofit pursues things like how do we deal with things like job displacement, reskilling. So valuation is a component of it, but the mission is where it starts and ends for a board like ours. That's our fiduciary duty.
I want to wrap around that because Sam Altman the other day was talking about rewriting the social contract. And as we talk about responsible AI for the future, it is a big narrative. Should the social contract be rewritten by a handful of tech bros in the United States?
I don't think, I'm not sure exactly what the social contract is, but I certainly don't think any individual or individual group is responsible for rewriting it. I think the way I think about it is how can we maximize the benefits of AI and reduce the risks? And you know, I was just thinking about if you went back 200, 300 years and described the economy we have today to an individual, it would probably take you 2 days just to describe how do we grow the food, because back then most of the economy was agrarian. We've gone through the Industrial Revolution, we've now are a services economy in much of the Western world. It's hard for us to imagine the jobs that we'll have when the marginal cost of intelligence goes down so significantly, but I'm convinced that we'll create a vibrant economy around it. And I think, you know, as a company sort of building this incredible new technology, it's imperative that we talk both about the short-term implications, but I have to tell you, I'm incredibly optimistic about the future. I look at the impact of AI on education, where everyone can get personalized tutoring. I look at the impact on healthcare, where everyone can get great medical advice, even in parts of the world where it's not generally accessible. I look at the impact on software engineering, on, in our area, customer experience. So I think we have a lot of complexity in this transition because this technology is being adopted so quickly, but I'm incredibly optimistic about the positive impact on society.
10 seconds, Stargate.
Yeah.
How much further advanced is the US infrastructure market going to be thanks to Stargate?
I'm excited about the focus on domestic infrastructure build-out. The three key ingredients to progress in AI are infrastructure, data, and algorithms. And I'm just so excited to just see the continuous announcements and investment in U.S. infrastructure.
Right, thank you so much for joining us on the Squawk Box Show. We do appreciate it. Bret Taylor with us, the co-founder of Sierra and chairman of the board of OpenAI.